Welcome everyone to the visual novel. I know there's not much to see. That's because this is all that there is. So, one, I didn't know that Ren'Py had its own script language. So we're using. Okay, maybe I should start. Okay, let's just start it over again. Welcome to Visual Novel Day, where we just learn how to figure out how to make a visual novel. All right. It's not that hard because there's a very good visual novel framework engine, whatever you want to call it, called Ren'Py. And I didn't know this, but Ren'Py is entirely based around this DSL where you just have a bunch of jump statements that you jump around to, and you define characters, and it has like a Python like syntax, and it kind of is like a Python like syntax, but not really. But it is neat that you can weave in Python at any moment to do whatever you want, like with more complexity. But for the most part, you're in this almost weird environment where you're only dealing with whatever this is. These statements where you're defining a character and like what they're saying and where they are, right? So you might be inside the BJ room or the BG's room. Sorry, sorry, the BJ room. Sorry. That was a oopsie daisy, right? There's also like a fair amount of documentation on it, and you can actually see the visual novel itself because it exists. So you can actually play the visual novel. This is just the placeholder, and you can just say this, okay, and then boom, you just go out there. It has hot reload, which is actually kind of cool. So you can at any moment in time shift R to reload the entire thing, which kills the capture. You're fucking kidding me, man? Really? Really now? So I gotta capture it again. It's called auto reload. Oh, so if you disable, okay, so keep auto reload on. Okay. So basically this is it. And then there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. There's like a little launcher window where you can sort of see what's going on and how the structure of your thing is. Let me just hide this side thing over here, which is kind of cool because you get to see sort of like the directory of things and sort of where to place things. There's like a linter. It's like a full basically environment that you have, and you can build for multiple platforms. It gives you an easy way to extract the dialogue to like to translate it and stuff. It's actually a very comprehensive system. This on top of the fact that you get built-in stuff. Hey, chat. Sorry, that was I studied. Where you also get to do with this feature is that you don't need to rebuild yourself. So comes with save states, comes with rewind, stuff like that. Like it comes with a lot. Even just the way that you structure your in-game script kind of is interesting because you can sort of define blocks that you can jump to. It's actually a very cool way of doing it. And then we have the documentation. So setting all of this up is a bit of a pain in OBS. I was gonna make a plugin at some point to make OBS window switching easier, but it ran into a bug, and so I never bothered fixing it. And I really should have done that because what it would have done is listen to the window focus event, and you would have just defined a series of sources to like watch, and then from that it would have automatically shown and hid those sources, which would have been way easier because right now I have to minimize the thing on my screen. So if I want to show you the visual novel, I can't show you the visual novel while also reading documentation. So this is why I don't really do programming streams, and I don't like to do desktop display because let me just show you what my desktop is. The reason why I don't like doing the desktop display is because of this. So if I show you my display right now, display capture, go to automatic, we go to this one. I feel like you judge me more than you should. So this is a way for me to save you. We won't judge your furry porn. Worse, it's foot porn. From whatever stupid thing that I have on my desktop, right? But today we're going to try to make a visual novel. Now, what's funny is that I'm going to show you something that I wrote apparently like a month ago about this concept. And I don't remember why I wrote this, but I want you to just read it and just laugh at it, okay? Visual novel with chat. Make a visual novel with chat live on stream. Scene coffee shop. I don't even know why I had this as a scene. Tries to ask a barista. The character says wants to get a coffee, but they're already making coffee with one F. Dumbass with one extra S. I don't know when I wrote this. And I wrote this at the bottom too. Visual novel will be about cuckoldry. And I don't know anything about this. So there's a new concept that I wrote on my phone. It's a lot. That makes a lot more sense. I this was written a month ago. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. This, this was written a long time ago. I don't know. There's a better one where it's this. I think the cockatoo angle though should stay. 11 out of 10 would get. Okay, you want the cockatoo angle has to stay. So there's two visual novels that I wanted to make. One today is just sort of like the test visual novel. So let's say this is like the test visual novel. The other one that I wanted to make is the actual Valentine's Day special, where it's going to be a lot more interactive with you and me sort of bantering back and forth, where we're not making it live, but we're playing it live. I think the cuckoldry we save for the Valentine's Day special, because I think it'd be funny if it's like you're all trying to date me, but we're all cucking each other. I have a series of things in the mind. There's a lot of really cool things that I have on my phone, but I'll give you like a sneak peek. So chatters can vote on various options. It'll be like a Mad Lib style sort of visual novel. So you can choose whatever words go into this, right? Groups of chatters. So chat is divided into various characters in the game that are trying to date me. So it's like you're not just a hive mind. It's like you're all a hive mind controlling your own character, but then there's also other characters that have their own hive minds. And I no joke, this is the inspiration, okay? The main Cuck Harem, that's exactly it. The main inspiration, that one dude in Japan who had like 12 girlfriends, who took them all out on a date in the same restaurant and was exposed for having 12 girlfriends or something. Like that's the inspiration, was that news story of that person who took all of his girlfriends on a date to the same restaurant, but none of them knew that he had other girlfriends, and he was trying to juggle them to like prevent them from seeing each other at the same restaurant. That's my inspiration, okay? And then there's also this idea of like, so you have like the voting, you have like the words that people can like choose to insert in the different things. It'll be like a dynamic thing, so it's like dynamic. I decide how much of a score some action gets you in regards to the attraction meters. So it's like I can sort of like manually input some number for these, and we sort of go from like there, right? I think a cuckoldry harem would be genuinely funny, because if I get enough parasociality, like it's the one day to be super parasocial, and we get all 4 viewers in here, right? I think we could do it such that everyone's trying to fight for some level of recognition in this like in this wacky space. But I think we save it for that. This one is different. I don't even think we need these scenes, although this is funny. So test visual novel. We're gonna make a visual novel with chat live stream. This coffee scene. This is like, okay. We had first off. Meters, TCRF, the cutting room floor, whatever this is. I don't know what this means. Making coffee, 1F, dumbass, 3 S's. This one today is going to be about a very specific story that I've had in mind for a long time. The context of the story is that I was going to make a stupid video where I roleplay as Watson and Sherlock Holmes. So Sherlock Holmes and his dear assistant Watson. And let me just explain this all to you. Just listen very carefully, okay? I was gonna role play a video to like try out some voice acting thing. It's this and another thing that I wanted to do, just to try out some like weird voice acting. I don't know, like just like ideas. And the whole concept was that Sherlock Holmes, Watson gets captured by like an ancient Mayan civilization that was hiding this whole time that believes in human sacrifice. I don't know. I was trying to think of like some civilization or like some concept that I could use that like wasn't really racist, but it's like but it also had human sacrifice. But like all of them are racist and have human sacrifice. So I was like, I'll just use the Mayans because that's like a classic, you know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, well, so they captured Watson, and then they shrunk him down. And what they were going to do was they were going to consume Sherlock and Watson at the same time. So basically, what it was going to be like was that Watson gets swallowed forcefully by Sherlock, by them, because he's shrunk down, okay? And then it's like a whole journey of like Watson trying to get out of Sherlock Holmes, while Sherlock Holmes is trying to get out of the human ritual, right? But the specific scene was that Sherlock Holmes would be like naked or well, no, he would be in his clothing with like no pants on, and he'd be like on like an operating table bent over because Watson has finally made it to his in intestines. So he survived the sea of stomach acid, and he went through like the many. How long is your intestine? How long are human intestines? So and he went through the 15 feet of like of like in, of intestines, right? Sherlock War, what Vore, yeah, basically. And then I was like, okay, well, they're communicating, but then they realize that oh wait, the clock is ticking. The shrink ray's powers are about to wear off. So as Watson is like in the final stretches of his asshole, and he sees the perineum or the perineum, is it the perineum? Yeah, and is it the perineum? And he sees like the final tail end of your of his intestine asshole, and he sees like the outer wall of the perineum. It runs out, and so what happens is that Watson explodes. Sherlock Holmes explodes because Watson grows to full human size, right? And then they freak out. And then I was gonna do a whole thing where Watson goes to find a shaman who's like really in tune with the stuff to revive Sherlock Holmes. But then like when Sherlock Holmes gets revived, he gets revived screaming, and Watson is still covered in shit the entire time because because Sherlock Holmes like in his final moments felt like pain of death, right? And then he'd be naked because all of his clothes would be off, and then they would go back home together, right? That whole concept fell. That whole concept fell apart when I realized that apparently Sherlock Holmes does not have any supernatural elements. So I realized that, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, I can't do what people do with the fan fiction thing of like, because like there's a thing now where people make fan fiction, but they don't even read the source material. And I was like, I can't do that to Sherlock Holmes, because like if I don't even know the source material, does it like, am I really any better, right? So I was like, okay, well, I can't do that. So I shelved it. But then I realized that that idea might be kind of funny here. So but specifically the ass climbing part, something about climbing into someone's asshole. What idea did I have in mind? Shit, I kind of forgot now. After retelling that story, now I don't remember. It was a very specific idea that was specific to what this was. Oh, yeah, it was about the giantess. So I wanted to make one about giantess because I learned about this concept. So if you go to Steam and you go like find games about giantesses, there's so many of them. There is so many giantess games on Steam. Like this one. Here we go. This is one that I'm waiting for actually. This is a game called let's see if I can show it inside the browser. Okay, so the browser should be maybe top. Well, I mean this one should just be minimized. This is a game called Giantess Dating Sim. Seiko Giantess Dating Sim. I saw this and I wishlisted this, and I want you to listen all to the trailer. I'm not kidding you. So she's a giant person, and you are just a person, and she is like she towers over you. Like that's you are like the size of her fingernail, and she has you there in a little box that she keeps you in. And basically, I wanted to do this story kind of like that. And specifically, the scene that I wanted was this one particular scene where I wanted the character to say, okay, well, close your eyes, right? And then you wake up in a meat cave. And you're like, what the fuck is going on over here? Why is there a meat cave? So basically, the story is roughly the same thing, okay? You and whatever the whoever the love interest is, okay? Or like accidentally found a shrink ray and that accidentally shrunk you, and then and you have to try to get unshrunk, but she's trying to she's trying to use you for her own pleasure. You don't realize that it's her plan. You have to figure out that it's her plan. So that's a spoiler. Okay, when you make a visual novel, you have to spoil yourself on such a masterpiece story that you don't get to enjoy it yourself. I wish I was stupid. I wish I was ignorant and stupid, so I could just everything would be a wonder in my eyes. Instead, I'm so smart, and so life is dull to me. I exist in a state of constant ennui. So anyway, so right, so you get shrunk down, and then she's like, wait, I've heard there's a place that I can teleport you to that will get you the secret ingredient to get you out of here. And then you end up in a suspiciously meaty cave. Like the walls are very meaty, it's very slimy. And the entire time you're exploring this thing, and I wanted to make it so that it's like your character has no clue what they're looking at because they're a virgin. The key is that they're a virgin. They've never seen a naked woman's body. They've never seen pussy, but they've also never seen a kidney. How many of you have seen a kidney? I've never seen a kidney. I've eaten liver, not a human liver. I didn't specify that, but I've never seen a kidney. Right? So you're exploring this meaty cave, and you hear, and then your friend tells you that she's speaking through the speakers, but it's actually not through the speakers. She's just speaking, and her voice is radiating throughout her entire body. Right? And then you realize, oh wait, you're just like it's a slow realization that your character realizes that that they're inside of the body of their giantess friend, who actually set this whole thing up just to like have you explore her like body from the inside. Yeah. That's actually the story. So again, the story. So the cuckold story is saved for later. The cuckold story happens later. The cuckold story is specifically for the Valentine's Day special. So as a little, heads up, the mechanics I'm not really sure of, but we're gonna test some of the mechanics today, and we'll see how it works. Kidney beans. Okay, well, kidney beans. They look like kidneys apparently. So basically, giantess themed visual novel where you get shrunk down by the main antagonist. Oh, and then throughout this process, you find the various bodies of various people who were also shrunk down by her. So let's say, like, let's start it out in like a very casual scene of like you're talking to one of your other friends, and it's like you two are getting along very well, but you don't know that they like you, right? All of a sudden they go missing. It'll be like a crime thriller where you slowly piece together that, oh my god, these are my friends' bodies, or like you find them still alive and they've been eating like the leftover, I don't know, cheese as it falls down someone's throat, right? Yeah. So, okay, giantess theme where you get shrunk down by the main antagonist who is secretly in love with you and planned the entire affair to have you crawl through her body like a tiny ant because she's into that. Don't question me. You start out in a meaty cave, in a meaty, moist cave that she says totally has the answer, but it's just you walking around the inside of her vagina. The problem, you're a virgin who does not recognize the inside of a vagina, nor the rest of the human who doesn't recognize the inside of a vagina. The other problem, you're not a doctor. You're a stereotypically handsome, neat character, a la what's it called? What's that game called? No Game, a la No Game, No Life, where you so you also don't recognize other usual human body parts. Yeah, that's good. And I'm pretty sure we can get like sound effects for like, shit like, I don't know, like her like moaning as you're walking through her vagina, right? This is good. I think this is good. So reimagining my Sherlock Holmes and Watson's asshole explosion video into this. Oh, and I was thinking of maybe we do we have the body parts talk, because I was thinking about the whole that copy thing that I copied from that one AI thing, where it said like, oh, you like watch a movie about the sperm, Back to the Future Zero, where the sperm is voiced by Jim Carrey. I do want something similar where it's like something is voiced by Jim Carrey. Isn't No Game, No Life protagonist a genius? Also, he probably fucked his sister. Okay, can I say something about that? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I've been saying this for so long, and no one believes me because it's like, dude, what like it? There's no way that that's not what the whole thing is implying, right? So, one, he's a genius. Two, he looks way too good for a NEET. Most NEETs look like old ugly bastards from most media. Okay. Two, he 100%. The implication was that he slept with his sister, which is fucked up because the first scene, my friend told me to watch this. He said this was his favorite anime. Okay? And the first scene in that anime was a panty shot of the sister where you see her camel toe. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It was literally within what, no game, no life camel toe scene. It was literally a single vagina camel toe scene where you see it immediately. And I was like, why do you like this, man? And the crazy part is he has a younger sister. I was like, why do you like this, man? And then the entire show shows them being codependent, right? It's like this idea of them being so codependent that they need each other to survive. But I'm like, I feel like the implication is that he's like weird about his sister in that way. And so I'm like, that is basically the closest that you can get to an incest show without going full blown Oroimo. Which is the one about him actually wanting to fuck his sister, and the sister wanted to actually fuck him, and they kiss with a fake wedding at the end. I'm not even kidding you. Like 100%. That is the shit that we're dealing with here, okay? And apparently within the like novels, it's implied that they had sex or something. Like it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but yeah, definitely there. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to sort of see. But that was my rant on No Game No Life. I don't think you should watch it, but I recognize that that's a good character. It's like a good character sort of trope to have the need to be the most handsome person, even though that would never be the case. Like realistically, you as the NEET, you wouldn't be a handsome person. Okay, I'm telling you right now, I've got pimples on my ass. I got a pimple on my asshole probably, and I'm fat. You have this image in my mind, okay? Right? And I want to dispel this image in the same way that I recently found out that K9 Kuro thankfully dispelled his image because he called out the parasociality of things, okay? Everybody you see online is fucking weird, all right? We're all weird, but that's normal human beings, okay? This character is uncharacteristically handsome despite the fact that they stay home all day. Too bad they're step siblings. Fake incest. Is that actually why? Because of the step siblings? That's the thing, right? At that point, it's no longer incest. It's just weird. I don't know. Like I still wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like imagine you're like 14 and you get a younger sister who's like 12. You're not gonna look at them and then be like, well, I guess it's time for me to stare at your panties and like have sex with you. It's fucking weird. It's like, why would you do that? Like, sure, you're both children and like, sure, you're both in that like weird time, but it's like it's still fucking weird. Because it's like, dude, like that's not like it's the same. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, that's just my rant about No Game No Life. I just don't think it's a good. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, so this is basically the Valentine's Day special. Okay, we have this, and then we have sort of like a crime detective thriller elements of finding various other members. Various other people who had the hots for you also shrunk down and stuck in this hellhole body where they've been trapped by the main antagonist. And then ending scene is everybody beats up the organs to try and get the main character to stop. So there's also other important scenes to have, okay? So inside the vagina, you can jump around and like do stuff, and that'll make her react in obvious ways. You can punch her uvula, which results in a bad ending because she forcefully vomits you out and you die from impacting the floor from such a high height. You can punch her bladder and cause her to piss herself, right? What else? I don't know why it's all about punching her, but it's like the character is stupid. They don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it's like, is it? Wait, actually, now that I think about it, is this a problematic concept in terms of like it's like abusive? Is it too much? Do we reel it back and do we go for more comedy? I think we reel it back and we go for more comedy. Maybe it's just a bit too abusive, right? Okay, maybe we just do all of this. No, but I was really thinking about the meat wall thing, and I was really thinking about the like Sherlock Holmes and the Watson thing. How about we take a step back and we say, okay, this is just too much, and we stick with something easier and something maybe even more basic, like a Mad Lib style game where you can insert various words into sentences, and depending on the words chosen, it defines the impact of the sentence on a character. You know what? I like that even more. You know what? See, this is an even better concept. Less problematic, less weird vor gore bullshit. And specifically, it may even be funnier because then it's like we can make it so that the character has no clue what happened, but one day was possessed to say things, aka the player themselves has possessed them. So we're doing kind of like an Undertale thing where it's like, okay, like the player is really taking control, and then causing their sentences to be filled with whatever words. And actually, we can actually then this can be used for this because it is the same concept as the Mad Lib style down here, and I can actually use this library. So I found this cool library, which is a giant list of words. A list of English words, a text file containing 466,000 English words. While searching for a list of English words for an autocomplete tutorial, I found into this, which is now archived. No clue why they put it inside of an Excel file. They pulled out the words from an Excel file into a new line delimited text file. And there's also a JSON file, which is specifically an O1 lookup in Python. Because that JSON file, all the keys are just the words, and the words are inherently a unique index. But okay, how about we just do this? Yeah, we do this. We do Mad Lib style. We choose and we define words based on categories. So I guess the hard part then is categorizing some words, but we don't need to support everything. We just need to support the funny words, right? And then we see what happens when your character says these things. I'm gonna go pee. Just give me a moment and get some more coffee because I feel like this actually needs some more time to like think about this. In the meantime, think about how you want this to play out in regards to whatever this is. Not maybe either of these. Everyone's free to submit scenes that they want, and we're just gonna see how this goes. I'm sorry. What was supposed to be a quick trip ended up being a shit. So I just took a shit. Sorry. What else is new? I always say I'm gonna go to the washroom really quick, and I think to myself, "Oh, it's good." And then my asshole starts to pucker up, and I go, "Ah, here we go again." Okay, the intestinal movement's happening. I ate nothing today. I shit in the morning. I ate nothing in the hopes that I wouldn't shit again. So I was like, "All right, we're just not gonna shit. We just gotta go for like a whole marathon. I'll starve. I'll let the blood sugar go, because it gets you a little, stronger." But then no, it doesn't. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what time, what day, I will shit my pants. Wait, are we not doing Vori anymore? Yeah, because it was getting a little violent, and I didn't want to get too violent with it. I want to keep it lighthearted and like fun, versus necessarily too wacky and too crazy, because it's like too much of it, and it feels a bit problematic, right? And I don't know the limit of like what is typical Vori content versus what is typical visual novel content. Like basically, because I don't know the sort of like finer details of it, I don't think I could do it justice enough, and it would just end up being much more. It would be more problematic than I'm intending it to be, and it's important to say that because whatever it ends up being, in spite of my intent, is what it is, right? It's like no matter how much you intend it, you punch someone in the face, it hurts, and they're gonna be pissed off, right? So same deal. Instead, we do this because I think this is better because it's gonna be a Mad Lib thing for the live version, anyways. But specifically the Mad Lib version, we have a list of words that we can use, and we can sort of like build cool reactions to it. And I think it'd be even more interesting in the sense of like maybe your character has to deal and grapple with the fact that we have control over them, and they're trying to like, how this, and the character has no clue what happened, but one day, and then the game is is about the character trying to convince you, the player, to please act in their best interest. So it's a bit of a sort of like this idea of a dating visual novel where you have full control and you can choose to make their life a living hell, or you can choose to actually play with their goals and see what's going on. And then maybe the twist is that the character is kind of an unlikable douchebag by default. So it's like, okay, well, do you want to play towards what they want, even though they're an unlikable douchebag? Do you want to make them better, or do you want to make them worse? And so it's like the whole thing is about how the player themselves. This is terrifying. What's the song? Which? About how the player themselves. Oh fuck. About how the player themselves wants to handle how the character acts towards others, right? And so the Mad Lib is like, what I'm thinking is we can probably categorize all the words into various things. Like we choose a set number of words that you can use in these situations. Maybe not every single word, because that'd be way too much. We just have a predefined list of what you can do, and you can drag and drop to see the result of it, right? I think that'd be good. And then this is simple because then the character could be anybody. The setting itself doesn't matter. It's more about the play between the character and who the player is, and your desire to want to help this like asshole either be good or be bad, and maybe you can like help change them. Okay, but what I was thinking about when I was taking this shit, I was thinking about like, okay, this is a lot of pre-planning for a lot of nothing, and I realized something. I forget that the hardest part of a visual novel is not the mechanics. It's like what mechanics are there? Like look at the game. So if I show you the game itself, there's actually like zero mechanics. You start the game, you click, you save, that's it. That's the whole game. Upload sync? What? No. And that's it. That's the whole game. You just keep clicking. So there's no crazy mechanics except for the Mad Lib thing. And I realized, well, how much are we really programming? It's just about the story. And then I realized something too of like, how do you start a story? Like, genuinely, think about this. Think of the books that you've read. Let me get some example books from my shelf, actually. Wait, just give me a second. I'm back. Show me your hentai, please. Yes, writing the script tends to be the hardest. Yeah. So I have some selection of things. I have selections of semi-biographies with sort of like fictionalized storytelling, like the way that like you can write a biography in a more interesting way. I have a weird book called Sun Tzu was a Sissy, and I have a full fictional lineup in two different genres. Anime, what's that anime thing you watch, son? Them cartoons on the TV? Manga, as well as a novel. A novel called China Rich Girlfriend, which is the sequel, or like it's somehow related to Crazy Rich Asians. And then you have Wotakoi, Volume 1, okay? Let's read the beginning of all these stories and try to figure out why it's so hard. First off, Against All Enemies, Inside America's War on Terror, written by Richard A. Clarke, who was there during the moment of 9/11. Very heavy book, but it's written in the. But let's see how you start off a heavy, serious topic. Okay. Chapter 1: Evacuate the White House. This is a foreword. Okay, no, I don't want the foreword. I just want to see how stories start. Like, how do you actually start these stories? Okay, I don't give a fuck about your foreword, okay? Show me the goddamn chapter. Where shit gets real, man. Preface. God damn it! I hate how books have like a foreword and a preface. It's like, buddy, you just spent all that time to say nothing, and now you're spending all this time to say nothing again. Like, just put it into your story, man. Anyway, so this is chapter 1, Evacuate the White House, okay? This is how it starts, okay? This is a more serious story. I ran to the west wing to the vice president's office, oblivious to the stares and concern that brought. I had been at a conference in the Ronald Reagan building 3 blocks away when Lisa Gordon Haggerty called to say an aircraft had struck the World Trade Center. That's a really good intro because it immediately strikes you as a, why is he running through the building? Oh shit, this is about 9/11. Okay, so that's a good intro, but the key there is it starts off with almost like is it called a non sequitur? Non sequitur. It's that type of sentence where you just start going and you just it's like you're in the middle of something but you're at the end of something that you don't know the context of, and then it gives you the context and slowly builds up to it afterwards. When did I stop believing in Santa Claus? Yeah, no joke. Most of these prefaces sound like that. When did I stop believing in the Santa Claus? When I realized that this book was making a lot more sales than I've ever made money in my life from Santa Claus. Let's read the opening from Sun Tzu Was a Sissy. Conquer your enemies, promote your friends, and wage the Real Art of War, written by Stanley Bing. I don't know why I have this book. I've never read this. I don't like. Let's preface. Fuck your. I don't give a fuck about your family. Fuck your acknowledgments. Fuck your preface. Suck my dick. Okay, introduction. All you need is war. A quote from Sun Tzu. Only one thoroughly acquainted with the evils of war can successfully wage one. That line is from Haruhi Suzumiya. We are not going to take a reference from Haruhi Suzumiya, okay? They did 8 episodes of The Eternal Summer. We are not doing that. Well, I'm not going to make a player replay the same 8 scenes for 8 episodes. What is war? The question is not as simple as it looks. When your boss yells at you because he's in a swivet about something vaporous, is that war? Or you're at war simply because you've been yelled at? Nah. If you were at war every time some butthead yelled at you, you'd be dead by now, of stupidity. When you and a peer argue about the best way to do something, are you at war with that person simply because he or she disagrees with you, maybe even in public? Maybe. If you're at GE, which is General Electric, what? But as a rule, that would be unfortunate. Disagreements happen, even between friends, and life would scarcely be worth living if every little face-off was just a skirmish in a larger battle that was part of a career-long war. There are those who treat every human interaction as a military engagement that could escalate into a potential battle, leading to a nice, satisfying conflict that's a part of war. There's a name for such people. They're called assholes. Beautiful intro. It paints this picture. It's a very, very sort of like... It's a very, very vivid image that they're trying to paint of sort of your average sort of person who believes that the state of life is all about conflict, and that they believe that there's a winners and losers versus the truth of the world, that cooperation and working together with the people is like important, right? So that's another masterpiece. Okay, the first one from 9/11, this one from Sun Tzu Was a Sissy. Cinema, exactly. Now we look to China Rich Girlfriend, which is a much more fictional take on what is an opening sentence. So let's look at what is their opening sentence, and how good is this opening sentence? Because I have no fucking clue how to make a good opening sentence. There we go. This is the prologue. Beijing Capital International Airport, September 9th, 2012, 7:45 p.m. Can I before I read this, by the way, you have to watch that Netflix show. There's a Netflix show about like rich Asians, which is like, it's such a weird. It's literally called Bling. It's called Bling Empire. It's such a weird, stupid show, and you like can't help but like watching it because it's no matter whether you're rich because you're white, Asian, or black, like or like any other like sort of like colloquial term for what your race is. You live in a whole different life from normal people. Like these people live an absurd life. And they just do whatever they want. It's called Bling Empire. You can actually watch it here from the Canadian site. I think you should just watch it because it's something weird about rich people. I don't know. Anyways, wait a minute. I'm in first class. Take me to first class. Edison Cheng. Oh, Edison Cheng. Wait a minute. I'm in first class. Take me to first class. Edison Cheng said contemptuously to the flight attendant, escorting him to his seat. This is first class, Mr. Cheng. The man in the crisp navy uniform informed him. But where are the cabins? Eddie asked, still confused. Mr. Cheng, I'm afraid British Airways does not have private cabins in first class. But if you'd allow me to show you some of the special features of your seat... No. That's fine. Eddie tosses ostrich leather briefcase onto the seat like a petulant schoolboy. Fucky fuck. Fucky fuck? That's how this thing starts? It literally says fucky fuck. What the fuck is this writing? Fucky fuck. The sacrifices I had to make for the bank today. Oh, woe is me. The rich person has to go do their fucking job at the bank. Edison fucky fuck. Edison Cheng, the pampered prince of private bankers, famous in Hong Kong society pages for his bon vivant lifestyle, his dapper wardrobe, his elegant wife, parentheses Fiona. I don't know. Okay, I don't know about this one. His elegant wife, parentheses Fiona, his photogenic children, and his superb lineage. Wow, we're really going into eugenics here, eh? His superb lineage, parentheses, his mother is Alexandra Young of the Singapore Youngs, was unaccustomed to such inconveniences. 5 hours ago, he'd been interrupted during a luncheon at the Hong Kong club, rushed aboard the company jet bound for Beijing, and then hustled onto this flight to London. It had been years since he had suffered the indignity of flying commercial, but Mrs. Bao was on this godforsaken plane, and Mrs. Bao needed to be accommodated. That one, this one, China Rich Girlfriend is good because of fucky fuck. I think we need to be free to make up whatever sayings we want, right? This is teaching me that you can start again, though. Still, if you think about it, all three books have started in the middle of something. This one starts in the middle of you being on an airplane. The 9/11 book starts with you being in the middle of 9/11. And then you have and then Sun Tzu was a sissy starts you in the middle of like a diatribe about how your coworkers are assholes. Okay, so now we move on to manga. How does a manga start? Okay, this is sort of like visual novels and the manga are sort of the two most closely linked together. The three books that I just read you were more of like the Western style literature, like very, 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 very North American style oriented. So let's move towards a full-blooded manga. Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku. My favorite series because it depicts a lifestyle of office workers trying to navigate love while being fucking losers. It is the best series that you've ever seen. You need to read Wotakoi if you've never read Wotakoi. It's so good that I would argue it smashes, it engulfs any other visual novel, any other manga, any other sort of like story on the market. It's such a good depiction of being a weird office worker who has weird interests. Anyway, so first chapter, which by the way, entirely beautifully colored, so I can't even like show you. I'll read maybe like the first couple of pages so you get some context of it. Because manga is interesting in that it's like mostly pages and mostly illustrations plus the words. Okay, I'll even describe it to you so you have like a mental image. So close your eyes, and just let me here. Close your eyes. We need to change the music. Close your eyes. I'm gonna keep saying that. It's like turn on the music. Sorry. Close your close your eyes and just close your eyes and just imagine based on what I explained to you. Scene 1. Scene 1. Two office ladies, OLs, are walking down the hallway when one, the shorter one with pink hair, pink eyes, her motif is pink, looks behind her. Huh? Hirotaka? Scene 2. Just behind them, two grizzled office men, OMs, look behind them as well, wondering what's going on. One with orange, frizzly hair, very wild, very free, like an animal. The other with a cool, calm, collected look, purple hair and shades on, looks down coolly back behind him. ... Scene 3. A scene depicting both sides, now in the hallway, side by side, staring at each other, back at each other. The one with the glasses, looking back at this tiny little woman with pink hair, says, Narumi. In the background, his co-worker, walking beside him, the one with the wild hair, says, Friend of yours, Nifuji? She looks in horror, almost in sort of surprise, but also in a sense of horror, abject horror. And she realizes and says, Oh my god, I just blurted out his name. While her co-worker, the woman with the green hair, says, What is it, Momose-san? Scene 4. They're now facing each other, both groups talking to each other with no fear, very, very courageously. She strikes up a conversation with the cool-haired, shaded man with the purple hair. No way! It really is you, Hirotaka-kun. You work here too? I haven't seen you since middle school. Long time no see. The two side characters, the one with the orange hair and the green hair, are simply staring on. As he responds, Oh, we went to the same elementary and middle schools. What a pleasant surprise. Scene 5. She stares up at him with cute eyes longingly, staring the way that a puppy would at their owner as they're holding a liver treat in their hand. Say, Hirotaka-kun, if you're up for it, what do you say we go out to eat or something after work? It'd be great to have some time to catch up. She's thinking in her head, in a thought bubble, and she says, gotta play it safe for now. I'd better wrap this up before I say something I shouldn't. He responds coolly, sure. No exchange of expression on his face. God, he's so fucking cool. She then says, great, I'm looking forward to it. And he excitedly exclaims a yes, not because she gets to go hang out with a friend, but because she didn't say anything weird. Well, see you later. And the implications that they're walking away from each other. Next scene. The two office ladies are walking away from him. And her side character / friend is asking, is he an ex-boyfriend or something? And she's thinking to herself, man, that was a close one. But from behind them, they hear him speak, the cool, studied character. Hey, Narumi. And she exclaims, no, it's not my ex-boyfriend. It's not like that. Her face, next scene, terrified. As if her life is over. As if everything has come crumbling down. Her palace of lies, her wall of lies. You're gonna be at the next Comiket? He says, looking over his shoulder back at her. Her cover's been blown. Her coworkers know that she's an otaku. Disgusting. Next scene. They're at the bar. They're at the bar. And they're both playing on their... Is that a PS Vita? That's a PS Vita. They're playing on their PS Vitas. Their handheld console from Sony. Buy now for $399 or $299 from Best Buy with a 1-year plan on a mobile phone. Get your BlackBerry phone today with your PS Vita. Game on. PlayStation. And then it like does the whoom sound. Same with the ad, right? She's tapping on her little PS Vita with, and the sound effect is clickety clack. And says, I seriously wanted to kill you back there. Him sitting beside her, he says, I didn't realize that you were in hiding. And they say, and there's these extra words where they say, oh, I'm so glad the coworkers are nice. Yes, it fell into my trap. The implication is that they're playing Monster Hunter because he also responds, sorry, all right, I placed the bait. They're playing Monster Hunter, which is like a very major game in Japan. So next scene. She picks up her drink, starts to play one-handed. That's how you know that she's not serious about the Monster Hunter, but maybe they're waiting because they're like sharpening their weapons or something, okay? So tell me, you've been here since before I switched jobs, yeah? If you help me as an otaku at this office, you're going down with me. As if that's something to be ashamed of. The implication, the subtext is that she's ashamed of it. I'll tell everyone you're so addicted to video games, you can barely function. Got it? Ooh, finish the quest because they finished the Monster Hunter quest. So actually, that's why they're drinking right now because they're in the skinning phase. Because it takes you forever to skin. You hold down the single button, and key is that they're drinking both with their left hands. So they're both holding their drink with their left hands because their right hand is holding the X button to skin the monster. He then responds, I'm not exactly hiding it from anyone. And then he says, is it okay if I smoke? Puts a cigarette in his mouth. She says, no way. And he says, smoking anyway, because I forgot that Japan has smoking indoors in some bars, which is fucking nuts to me. She says, you should hide it. Otaku are unpopular. But he doesn't give a damn. Well, I don't really care about being popular. Huh? What? You got a girlfriend or something? She exclaims, looking over his shoulder, sitting beside him at the bar countertop. I don't, but exactly. That's because on top of being an otaku, you're totally antisocial. Wow. She really ripped into him, hey? There's nothing that he could have said to feel any better, but there's everything that she could have said to make it feel a lot less worse. None of me, he says while he's smoking on a cigarette coolly between his fingers and looking deeply at it in front of the countertop bar. Are things going well with your boyfriend? Next scene, she's smiling. Which boyfriend do you mean? Acting aloof, as if we don't really know. I broke up with the one you knew ages ago. I was dating this total hottie I met at my previous job, she says. And then she drinks her entire pitcher of beer in a single sip. He looks surprised. She collapses on the table, head face down first. She's saddened, depressed, destroyed by what she's about to have to admit. But I was outed as an otaku right before our 1-year anniversary. He started avoiding me until he finally dumped me a while later. Lol, 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 lol. I'm not even kidding you. The official translation says lol, lol, lol. It's in my hands. Lol, 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 lol. With LOL, 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 LOL. He couldn't stomach dating a fujoshi, which is a an otaku lady who only plays like raunchy visual novels or something. I don't know. He commiserates with her, pushes his drink to her side, and says, "Drink up." Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. So that's why I'm gonna hide the fact that I'm an otaku for my next boyfriend forever. I'll snuff out anyone who interferes. He looks inquisitive. Why can't you just find a guy who accepts you as an otaku? Another question! The only guys who understand are also otaku. Otaku are creepy, so no way! And there we have it. You're one of the fujoshi who puts herself up on a pedestal, he exclaims. She puts her fist on the table. No, he says, smoking, looking coolly up in the sky. I'm no exception. Just another creepy gamer, I guess. Just another creepy fucking gamer, I guess. Oh, you have an Xbox? Sorry, I don't date fucking losers. I don't care if my only love... I don't care if my only lovers are video game characters. Then she reaches for him, puts her hand out, and touches softly. His neck moves up to his eyes, and raises the glasses on his face to see him. Unfiltered, unbothered, and unbroken, the line of connection between him and her. She stares deeply into his eyes, and he pauses. He looks at her and says, "What?" Next scene, she flips the glasses down. "Yep, you're not my type." Rejecting me just like that, You're perfect, Hirotaka, as he adjusts his glasses. We won't end up developing romantic feelings for each other. She looks excited now, as if she's just come across a revelation. Our otaku bond is so important to us that we'd never jeopardize it by falling in love, right? He waves his hand to the bartender. Excuse me, I'd like a Mugi on the rocks, please. While she's still regaling him on this point, our coworkers seem to know what comic it was. I wonder if that means that they're like us. Now that I think of it, oh right. As it zooms into the now empty beer cups things. Oh hey, is the guy who was with you earlier your senpai? He looked kind of fierce and cool, you know. Introduce me next time. Sorry, he has a girlfriend. Aw man, really? Love is so tough, isn't it? It sure is. So that's a very long-winded intro because I had to explain most of it. But it's only 3 pages. But that intro is also very good. Again, have we noticed a certain trend here, guys? Every intro starts you off in the middle of something. In the middle of an affair. And in fact, I think there's a book that we can take direct inspiration from. I need to go find it in my brother's room because he has the book. Give me a second. I'm going to find this book. I think I know the perfect way to start this story of this character who is being taken over by the player character to say stupid things, and it has to bargain with this almost mystical entity that lives above them. Give me a second. I'm going to make a quick run. Okay, well, plan failed. 1, it's his day off, so he's sleeping in. I don't want to bother him. 2, his daughter, my niece, has lice, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just gonna explain it to you. So basically, it's a book called The Oracle Year. It's okay. It's not like the best book ever, but the way it starts is the character is aware of their powers, and then it's sort of like he's in the middle of sort of dealing with the after effects of his power, where he predicted somebody would die in a bar fight that he wrote in his basically Death Note book that makes everything that he writes come true. So because he wrote it down, it became true that this person died in a bar fight, and he's in the bar bathroom sort of dealing with that problem. He's trying to find a way to escape before people find out, because he's realizing, oh shit, this is some real power. Because before, he was playing it safe with some very basic things like getting some money or getting like, I don't know, or like finding like $1 on like in their sofa, but this time someone's dead. So he's sort of dealing with that. I think we do the same thing. I think the way that the game is, I think I have a good idea here. Every story starts off in the middle because it invites a curiosity about what happened, right? I think as a game mechanic, there's sort of like a bond meter whereby the higher the bond you have with the character, the more likely they are to go along with your ideas, and the less you have to use your limited amount of forces whereby they which let you force which let you force a particular Mad Lib entry into the dialogue tree, right? So it's like if the whole thing is about Mad Lib and you're trying to figure out. Sorry, this song is now not the right mood. I don't want to think about this. I want something like more upbeat. Let's go to Knowledge. I like Knowledge. Let's go to Knowledge and let's listen to his stuff. Bup, 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 bup. Yeah, that's good. So remember this. Remember this. Yeah, that's good. So let's say that you're. Oh wait, let's go with this. Yeah, that's it. That's good. So let's say that you are like this character, and then you are playing it. You can decide what he like does, and you change it based on like a set of like a preset list of words that like might be say like a verb or an action, and the game will react in that way, right? So it's like you have to like make sure that you're working with him. Otherwise, he'll like try to reject you as much as he like can. You basically have to make sure that your little character doesn't go fucking crazy, right? Because of the ways that he's being used. And I think we should start off right in the middle. So start off as all good stories do, right in the middle of the character having a breakdown, having lived their life at the mercy of another person controlling them. So the implication is that we are not the first person to have taken control of this visual novel character, okay? So now this alone is enough to start with, and I think it's worth it to just go right into it now. We have enough examples. How the hell do we make this work? So I don't even know, actually. We gotta read the documentation. So put this over here. So there's actually a tutorial for this that you can do, but there's also like a quick start guide. So you have the launcher, choose the launcher project, a simple game. You can build the narration, build the characters, and the different characters that you can define by defining them like this and giving them a different color. So right now our character, I think, just looks like, I don't know, this, whoever this is. And apparently we have assets, like we have images inside the folder too, which you can't see that. So if I do like this. So we have characters inside the folder, or files inside this folder too. If I open images, there's nothing here. If I open base, there's nothing here. Game, there's nothing here. But there's a game folder. What's in the game folder? What? Game folder? Oh, this is the same folder. So the game folder has all the files. GUI. Oh, GUI is literally just image files of the GUI. Wait, what? So you have to draw everything too? Damn. I thought you could like generate this stuff or something. I don't know. I just thought to myself like you could generate all the various different things that you wanted versus having to draw everything. Like I always thought to myself like you could like, not to say that the scenes you don't have to draw, but I always thought to myself like UI is the same way that CSS is and like HTML is. Like you can make really good looking UI just with HTML and the CSS. How come more games don't do that actually? Or like more things don't let you do that for UI? Phone? What? Phone. Oh, this is a mobile thing. Oh, so yeah. So let's see how we can do this. What's a good name for a character? We need to choose like a name for a character, and maybe not this song. I want something. What's a good soundtrack to put on? A soundtrack that makes you feel like this is not just gonna be like some stupid, boring, sad thing. Oh, I know. This one. We'll listen to Nobunoko in this fake jazz album. I'm not even kidding you. It's a fake jazz album with a whole fake lore. It's a bit more interesting sonically than just sort of the same beat over and over. What's a good name for a kid? So the game goes in this file. And apparently you can have like multiple scripts. Declare characters used by this game. The color argument colorizes the name of the character, which we see. Oops, you can't see that. Sorry, I forgot. Which you see within the documentation. So if I look at the documentation, you can define character objects by saying this character who color. What? How come this one says color? What's the difference between color and who color? Name. If a string, the name of the character for dialogue. When name is none, display the name is omitted. As for narration. If no name is given, the name is taken from kind, and otherwise defaults to none. What? The character to base this character off of. When used, the default value of any argument not supplied to this character is the value of that argument supplied to kind. What? It's going to be used to define a template character and then copy that character with changes. Oh, for like, say, NPCs and shit like that. Okay. Linked image. An image tag may be associated with a character. This allows a save statement involves this character to display an image with the tag. It also allows RenPy to automatically select a side image to show when this character speaks. Okay, let me open up GIMP. Voice tag. If a voice tag is assigned to a character, the voice files are associated with it can be muted or played in the preference screen. Huh? Preference screen? What's in the preference screen? Huh? Skip unseen text after choices transitions. What? Was I don't know what that means. There's something is there that we can do with it, but it doesn't really show. Okay. The what prefix. What? What prefix? A suffix string that is appended to the dialogue being spoken before it is shown. What? A string that is appended to the name of the character. Oh, you know what? I know what this is for. You know those printies from what's that game called? It's like that, where they do like a stupid penguin noise. It's the same concept. Yeah. Changing name display. These options help to control the display of the name. Ooh, dynamic. If true, the name should either be a string. Oh wait, yeah, and then it should be like. I should also do like he has a Ouija board, so it's like okay, he's trying to figure out. So character starts off implication. Okay, having a breakdown. Next scene is character trying to communicate with the player and get information about who they are with a Luigi themed Ouija board. Ouija. How do you spell Ouija? Ouija board. Ouija board. Ouija board. What the fuck? Why do we call it a Ouija board if it's a Ouija? Ouija board with the Luigi themed Ouija board. By the way, remember that game Intravenous that we played? And that game had like a pistol in the game called a veterinary pistol. Yeah, that was apparently used by this guy who killed the CEO. It was used by Luigi. So I'm for sure on a list now because I googled the veterinary pistol and I googled videos about the veterinary pistol, and the videos about that pistol had the title "The Ultimate Assassin Gun" from 3 years ago. I'm on a list now, but I wanted all of you to be on the list too. That gun was used by the guy who killed the CEO. So it is a very effective assassin gun. It's probably the best advertisement that you can ever think of to have that there. So next scene, okay, so we do this for the scenes. Kermit, hide your asshole. Okay, so we do this. What's a good name for a character then? Like, basically, there's two characters, right? We have define character equal add hashtag add. Oh, I'm on a list for sure. Some of you are on a list. Okay, so if true, the name should be either a string containing a Python expression, a function, or a callable object. If it's a string, that string will be evaluated for each line of dialogue and the result used as the name of the character. Otherwise, the function or a callable object will be called with no arguments before each line of dialogue. What? And the return value of the call would be used as the name of the character. Okay, well, I do want a dynamic name for the character that you enter. So let's do character. So let's just move this over here. Sorry, we move this over here. So instead of this, I don't know what to call this like character. Lists. Correction, you're on multiple lists actually. Oh, oops, sorry. I'm still getting used to VS Code. I'm not really sure. So how do we, so with the define, how does that work? So you have a dynamic name. Wait, didn't it show an example somewhere? Character, Sylvie, me. Images, Sylvie, me. Okay. Me, Sylvie. Transitions, positions with transforms. Supporting flags using defaults. Dynamic? Language basics. Dialogue and narration. Here we go. Defining character objects. Here we go. Go back. Dialogue and narration. The say statement is used for dialogue and narration. And you just write it out. You write the name of the character in quotes, or you write the character of a variable itself. Because this is just, it's weird in that this is like weird syntax, but this is just how you define a character. Is you define a variable that has the name of the character, right? So we do player when we call the character function. Wow, there's even like hints of what to do. That's cool. That then allows you to like make the character. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. And then you can also add dynamic effects with the with thing. So defining character objects, you can then use it in a say statement by using that. Okay, how do I define with a dynamic name? I need an example of of a dynamic name. I'm stupid. Example characters. Oh, here we go. Here are a few example characters. A character that pulls its name from a variable. Quotes player name. What the fuck? Dynamic equal true. What does that even mean? What? I mean, that's exactly what I need, but it's like I also forgot that Python uses like a capital T. Why does Python use capital T? How come you can't just do this? Why is it capital? Is because nothing else in Python manual true. Let me get a new 7TV emote for that. 7TV. We go to 7TV here. Wrong. Okay, so let's look up these emotes here. Scam. Uh-oh. Okay, not that. How about bad? Good. We'll do this. So if you type true, it'll be bad. True. Good. This is for if you type lowercase true. There we go. If you use Python syntax, it's bad. If you use normal syntax, it's good. True. Okay, well, sorry. 7TV doesn't have aliases, okay? So, documentation, docs, beginnings guide. Let's go to the beginnings guide. Jesus Christ. This is the worst documentation I've seen before. Jesus Christ. Non-programmers, sure, beginner friendly and free. No, why is it so many third-party places? What is this? What is this? Where's the really? There's I mean to be fair, no programming language has a tutorial. You know the tutorial for C++ is this book. I'm not even kidding you. It's this book. Here we go. The programming the tutorial for C++ is this book. I have the 2014 edition or 2013 edition. You just buy this book from the creator of the language and you learn this way. Because there's like no like otherwise your tutorial. It is weird to think about that most programming languages do not have do not have a official tutorial. Like if you go to Rust, for instance, Rust has one. Rust has a whole learn section where you read the book and you go chapter by chapter to know what to do with the ecosystem. But for C++, it's like get this book or you go to en.cppreference.com and you just good luck. Is that that has to be a flaw, right? Because even JavaScript has a tutorial on MDN. Maybe tutorials are a good thing. Anyways, so whatever. So we know that it's like true now. How do you get this? Like how do you define this? How do you define like a variable? So let's see Python statements. Wait, what? Python is written in the Python language and includes support for supporting Python. RenPy 8, which is what I'm using, supports Python 3. Okay, the Python statement takes a block of Python and runs the block when control reaches the statement. Real programmers do it the hard way. Yeah, real programmers just download a compiler and start writing things. No IDE, Notepad, not even Notepad++, Notepad. They name the file .cxx and they just go. And if it compiles, then it's good. If it's not, they try a new random string. Hello, chat. How are you? Welcome to today's visual novel stream where I figure out how to make a visual novel. The init Python statement runs Python at an initialization time before the game loads. Oh, you can also config variables. So here you can make variables. How do you make a variable in Python? How do you listen? It's been a long time, okay? Like it's been a very long time since I've used Python. Say like a Python docs. Maybe there's no need to, right? Isn't it just like you don't even have to do like anything? You just do like an equal sign, right? Python, here we go. Python tutorial. Okay, Python tutorial. Whetting your appetite. Okay, cool. Well, you've done nothing for me. Where's the code? You've done nothing but just put like a whole sentence in the way. Okay, yeah, so you just do that. Okay, so you just do equal signs. Okay, so if I just so how do you define the like basically what I want to know, right? You're doing good. You're gonna look today. That's good. It's good that you're doing good. I'm glad that you're doing good. How does what does where does this is this any variable name? Does this do a lookup on every variable? And is that even possible? Does Python have something like that where you just look up every variable that exists? How is Streamer? Streamer is good as well. Very good. I actually had a good sleep last night. I pooped in the middle of the stream today, which is always a good sign that things are going poorly, or well. Time to use vibe coding mods. Ban them right now. Ban them right now. But yeah, I'm doing good. Just a nice, relaxing way to come back into whatever this is. I really should have maybe thought of something easier to do, but I figured, you know what, maybe it's fun to do a visual novel. We haven't even gotten to the point where we're writing anything yet. All we have is a synopsis. All I have is a synopsis of you having to curry favor with this like fake character who you somehow control. And then the cuckoldry concept goes for visual. How about we make maybe we do the cuckoldry concept? Why don't we just work? That's every programming stream ever. That's fair. How about instead of doing this thing, which is stupid, why don't we just make the Valentine's Day special here? It's about cuckoldry. So we know who I am, and then every group of chatties. I won't do the Twitch integration, but we can sort of make pretend. Okay, it's easier to do make pretend. Because either way, it's like I have to show the UI piece by piece anyway. So you know who I am. I'm gonna use my actual. Okay, this is the actual name that I have. It's not sticky. Okay, it's not hashtag stay sticky. All right, but maybe every character could be its own character. So like, how many? Because the whole point of the visual novel in this way is to make it so that like every single group, like the chat splits into various groups of like other characters. How many characters should we have? Because again, it's all based on that story of that one dude who had like 5 different girlfriends, and he took them all to the same restaurant, and then he somehow didn't think he would be caught, but all of them noticed immediately that he was going to sit down at like different tables. No joke, that's a real news article. And the way that he was found was that he sat down, like, well, one of his girlfriends saw him sit down at another girl's table and was talking to him because she was like, he goes to the washroom every 15 minutes. Like it was such an absurd story. Okay, so how many characters are there? And I want the names to be very, very generic. Parsing the script failed. Oops. Parsing the script failed. You've failed. Oops. But I do want to have I do want to have like the generic sort of naming that allows anybody to self-insert themselves, right? Or maybe do we let the groups choose? Because we could do dynamic as well. But there's going to be a set number of groups. So it's like a set number of characters. Maybe, what's my average viewer count? Maybe like 3. So 3 different characters, okay? So we'll do group 1, group, oops, 2, 3. Okay, group 1, 2, 3. We'll do group 1 name. This is a stupid variable name. Just trust me on this one. Name group 1 dynamic equal true. I wish I just copy pasted this beforehand. You know what? We'll do it again. I should have just done like a string search. It's too late now. So group 1, group 2, group 3. Forget the one where we're controlling a character, and then there's like various meters. So is this defining any variable? Or is this only defining these things? Because the define statement sets a single variable to a value at init time. Oh. This variable is treated as constant and should not be changed after being set. I see. A priority number can be placed between init and Python. When a priority is not given 0 is used, init statements are run in priority order from lowest to highest. Init statements are the same priority run in Unicode order by file path. And then from top to bottom with no... What the fuck did you just say to me? Init statements of the same priority are run in Unicode order by file path. And then from top to bottom within the file, this is basically just saying, yeah, whatever the Python interpreter does to read your file, that's how we do it too, buddy. To avoid conflict with the RenPy, creators should use priorities in the range 999 to 999. Priorities of less than 0 generally used for libraries instead of themes. Normally, in this statement, should have priority higher than 0. Dear God, that's already painful. Okay. Variables that have the value set in an init Python block are not saved, loaded, and do not participate in a rollback. In a rollback. Therefore, these variables should not be changed after the init is over. So, if I want a dynamic character name, where do I put it? Names in the store. The default place that Python stores Python variables is called the store. It's important to make sure that the names you use in the store do not conflict. The find statement assigns a value to a variable, even if it's used to define a character. That means it's not possible to use the same thing. The following faulty script uses the same name for everything. Right, will not work. Other name stores. What? Name stores provide a way of organizing Python functions and variables in the modules by placing each store corresponds to a Python module. Default store is store, while name store is actually store.named. Name stores can be created using Python in blocks. What the fuck is a Python in blocks? Or they're init Python or Python early what is a Python early or Python in? One line Python statement. Set a flag with a $sign. Set a flag to true. So this is runs in the default store. A Python one line can be used to initialize or update the flag. So we could do just the one line, but there's also like the dynamic ones. Oh, here we go. There are two modifiers to the Python statement that change its behavior. Hide will run the Python in an anonymous scope. The scope will be lost when the Python block terminates. Use temporary variables that can't be saved, but it means the story needs to be accessed as fields in the store object rather than directly. Right? The in modifier takes a name. Instead of executing in the default store, the Python will execute in the store with that name. So you could either do this as a one line, or you do this to do thing. And here your variables you have to set within the store. But if you set, like this is actually putting it into the default store, which is the high level store. If you want a name store, you would do store dot whatever the name is. Yeah, because this is like in my store, you do this, and then label start serial, my store that serial name store is to be supplied by using the things in question, which all run within the Python thing that they from Python. And how come the one line can use it too, though? Oh, because it's my store dot serial, because we're within the default store, and then this says that this is within the my store. So init is only for the constant stuff versus like the non-constant stuff. A name store can be declared constant by adding the variable name constant to a true. It's not the most complex thing, but every time I read Python, I go, this language, like there's something funny about it. Like it's super readable, but at the same time, compared to every other language, it's nonsensical. But does that mean that Python is nonsensical? No. It could be that Python is the only sane language in the entire world, and every other programming language is really the nonsensical language to begin with. Because why do you have braces when you could just write something like this? This makes sense. Except for the T being capital T for true. Everyone type true with a capital T right now, and you're going to see what I really think about it. Well, okay, so we're gonna do a store. We're gonna do a Python in whatever the store is. So we'll do Python in, I don't know, false. Okay. Now we have to add an emote for false. 7TV, bad. Awful. Perfect. Awful. This is used in one channel. It's just used in the Jabroni mic channel. Okay, well, listen, it's the same style as the... Wait, is the bad one also used in the Jabroni mic channel? Have I just been stealing his emotes? Yeah. Yeah, okay, listen, look, it's necessary. No, awful, sorry. What is it again? False. False. If you write false with a capital F, it's also awful. There we go. Good. You have bad and you have awful. So we do this. Okay, so that's where you get the names. I still don't know how this relates to that, though. Like, how do you get this into that? I still don't know. Like, wouldn't it be better to be in a variable? Because why is it a string inside the example? Because then wouldn't I just do, for instance, Python in... Sorry, there's no emote for bad. The space has been taken. Oh, how about this? We'll do 7TV. Good. There's no... It doesn't have the same text color. DBD. DVD. Dead by Daylight, 0 viewers. That's fucking funny. Holy shit, that's good. Oh man. Good, 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 good. What's a good emote? What's a good emote? Good, 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 good. Is this animated? No, it is. Goog DBD is the worst game to watch. Armo, 100% agree. DBD is genuine torture. Because the problem with like DBD, right? Sorry, the problem with DBD is that it's just so painful because nothing really happens, and you're just if you're watching a player who's bad at the game, they're stuck on the hook. If you're watching a player who's good at the game, but then they will never get chased, and so you're watching somebody play a rhythm game on the generator for 5 minutes. If you're watching the killer, it's pretty fun, but the killer is basically playing pixel hunting hide and seek, which sucks. And so it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like it's one of the shittiest games to watch. It's also one of the shittiest games to play for exactly that reason. If you're a good survivor and the killer doesn't want to chase you, you're playing an AFK hold left mouse button game. If you're a bad survivor, you're stuck on the hook for the entire game and then you just die. If you're a good killer, your games are over in like 5 seconds. You get summoned to rope, but that's it. If you're a bad killer, you just hold W the entire time as you live in a state of frustration chasing someone. It genuinely, that game has the worst game loop I've ever seen in my life. And it's only because you can be stuck in a state of doing nothing for so long. If there was more things that you could do, I think it'd be more fun. But they're afraid of giving you more things to do. Like the best part of the game is the chase, but you can't win the game by just chasing. Only the killer wins the game by chasing you. You lose the game if you get chased. And so you being a survivor, the best part of the game is holding left mouse button on the generator and just sitting there watching like basically a gif of your character doing the same movement over and over, and every now and then you have to play a quick rhythm game. It is genuinely awful. Anyways, that's my rant about DVD for the week. So Python in what is it again? Python in my store. So I need to do using the Python. Sorry. Is there? Oh, thank God, this dark mode. Okay, so other name stores we can do like this. So we do Python in whatever the store is called. So I don't know. We'll do like Python in game. There's no curly braces. I need to stop that right now. I need to stop that habit right now. There is not a single curly brace in this. Python in game. We'll do name group 1 equals something placeholder. There's no semicolons. This feels dirty. I don't know. This feels dirty to use. I feel dirty. Yeah, I feel dirty not being able to use these things. And also, now you see why I don't like Python. Okay, to be fair, this is specifically it's more of a problem of the fact that this is more of a DSL thing, and maybe the language server could maybe do some extra processing, but how do you know that this links together? How do you know that this is within this? Oh, you just have to hope that you do a search text and it shows up, right? But there's no easy way to tell. Like for instance, look, you can't go to definition because there is no definition. Like it doesn't work. And you get this roughly within the Python script itself, although the Python LSP is a lot better at it, but it can be confusing to read and like understand. But an Iron Python is awful to use, so. Chat just made a vagina out of curly braces, parentheses, and a single straight line going up and down, a vertical line character. They just made a vagina. You just made an ASCII vagina. Can you make it like ASCII legs on the side? Make it ASCII squirt. So we have the 3 groups that are me. I'm assuming this works, but I don't know. So let's go back to the game itself. HD one. HD vagina. Expected : not found. What? What colon? The only colon you're gonna have is I'm gonna shove you up my asshole. Oh, you have to do right the colon in that syntax. Okay, sorry. So you go like this. And then it works. Okay, maybe you know what? Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game, hate the player. right? For programming, it's don't hate the game, hate the player. I'm just a bad programmer. Do 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 do. Rat Taxi. Okay, so wait, so now we have it. And then what do we do here? So we have this. Okay, so these should pull from it fine. But if I try it, parsing the script failed. Unexpected end of. Oh my god! It's because I put a semicolon. Dude, this is a dude. This is a. I'm sorry. I speak a different language here. Okay, I speak a different language. What? There's another semicolon. I speak a different language. Oh shit! That's a good alien thing. That is an amazing message. Can I just commands signal alien and we do like a lingo jam fancy text generator. Here we go. The aliens have said. The aliens say. What's a good lingo jam fancy text? Which font do you guys want for this message? Some of these are like eye piercing and they hurt my eyes. The aliens say. Oh, it's this one's good. The aliens say. Perfect. Okay, everyone type hashtag alien. It should have updated. I mean, not hashtag exclamation mark alien. That's good. Sorry, there's a cooldown of 5 seconds. Sorry. Okay, try it again. Now it's your turn. It's your turn to say alien. The aliens say. Thank you for that beautiful emo combo. That was a beautiful emo combo. So this should work now, right? I think exception has occurred. Oh yeah. Sora module object has no attribute name underscore group 1. Okay, well that's a fucking lie. I defined it up here. It's in Python in game, and then you do game dot where foo. Oops. Okay. Well. Sorry. The aliens say foo. Foo dot name group 1. Dynamic equal true. The Sora at module has no thing. Name group 1. What is this? Where are my types? They're gone. Python developers, they see the world not as stupid things like types and, definitions and declarations. They see it as flow. Neil, Python is the original vibe coding language, right? Like, you have to realize this. Python was made purely because of vibes. The entire language, the history of it, the reason why it was made, the way the syntax is, it is the vibe coding language. They just can't say that anymore because it's no longer good. So I don't get it. I'm doing the exact same thing that the example tells me to do. Like I do serial number, and then this defines a function named serial within my store, and it should be executing from top to bottom. Maybe, but and I don't want to use init because init makes it a constant read-only thing. The fact that you predicted your Ubuntu update failing doesn't help you fix it. You have to do a clean install after all. Rest in peace. Yeah, that's the problem. My Windows has been telling me to update for a while, and granted, I will have to go to Windows 11 eventually, but I am afraid to. Let's say. So wait. So serial. Okay. So I don't get it. So define character stats that Chloe store substore dot friend. From a Python in block, the default auto store can be accessed with either renpy.store or import store. What? Import store? Name stores participate in save, load, and rollback the same way the default store does. Special namespaces such as persistent config renpy do not and never have supported substore creation within them. Okay, I feel like I'm doing everything correctly. but also, so an init block doesn't have to be constant? I don't understand. Up here, init Python or persistent data. To avoid conflict, variables that have their value. Read this for a second. Cut the music. Variables that have their value set in an init Python block are not saved, loaded, and do not participate in rollback. Therefore, these variables should not be changed after init is over. So init Python. But you can apply a modifier called init_in, which then lets you do something like this. So you do init_in Python in a store, and then it says you can't modify these values, but you can, because look at this function. This function lets you change the value of the number. It lets you change the value of the number by making it go +1. Why is there a global here? What? I don't understand. And then it says that name stores do participate in save, load, and rollback. I don't fucking get it, man. Why is there global? What is the Python global keyword? Python global. What? Reddit. Yeah? Okay, Reddit? Yeah, we'll go to Reddit. Yeah, sure. Fuck it. I actually use the global keyword. So it's a real keyword, defines a global scope thing. So this is shadowing something that is in the store and making it global? I don't fucking understand. Variables in a constant store can be changed. Oh, but the constant nature of a store is by the variable, not the init Python. It takes from the outer scope. No. I get what's happening. The outer store is constant. The outer store is constant. When you use just init Python by itself, you interact with the global store. When you use a named store, every branch of the store defines its own constant nature by itself. Its constant attribute is on a per leaf basis. But the global one is just constant. That's why it's confusing, because when you apply in, you're now defining these things within this store, which isn't constant unless you do this. So then it becomes this rule. This is the worst DSL I've seen in my life. this is the worst syntax I've seen. What do you mean it has? It's like no joke. It's like C++. Okay, the worst thing about C++ is these two operators. Wait, no. Is it what's the other one? Shit. This. Wait, is it that? No, what was it, the other one? Sorry, I'm stupid. I can only remember the operator when I'm working with the code. This. Depending on the context of where you use it, this changes what it does. Okay? Like, if you're using it from, like, during... Let's say you're passing like a variable. Using it when you're passing a variable is different from when you're defining it. It's different from when you're assigning it. And it's the same operators. I hate this. I hate whenever languages do this, because it's so confusing, because you need to remember not only the syntax, but based on the context. And in a way, that's harder than just remembering new syntax. That's what's happening here. So if I want to do init Python in foo, I can then do like that. And I'm assuming this would work. It worked. Yeah, this whole thing doesn't look much like vanilla Python. Well, it's not. It's just Python blocks. So, say your E is not defined. Well, I never made... Oh, oops. It's because it's still saying E. So, it's because... Here, I'll explain why. This is RPy. This is RenPy. So, it is a... You get Python blocks, but the rest of this is DSL. So, this define, these labels, the scene, show, jump... Everything outside of a Python block, which is defined as a one line like this, or a block like that, is its own DSL. You can have... I actually did check the documentation for this last night, just to make sure that I knew what to do it as. My format hotkey isn't working, but that's fine. That's unfortunate that my format hotkey isn't working. That you can have like full Python files, but the Python files, it's weird. The Python integration is actually limited. From Python, you can't do the complex dialogue work that you would be able to do within an RPy script file, which is this. Also, script files are global in the sense that like you can, let's say you have a start over here, a label, and let's say you have a label for something else. Let's say you do label intermission, and you do like this, and then you do a jump over here, like jump intermission. You can do this jump intermission from any other script file. So let's say you make another script file and you just say jump intermission, you can do the same thing. And you don't have to redefine the label. It's all global. So I don't even know how you would even begin to define it, because it's not like the LSP is able to help you traverse this like nest. So long term, I don't know how anyone would make a visual novel and not go crazy trying to keep everything there. Like it's kind of painful. RenPy cannot compile your project. Why Python though? You're sure that there are same engine /templates for other languages? Well, it's not so much the fact that I chose this because it was Python. Or are you asking sort of why did they choose Python? But for me, my choice wasn't because of the Python thing. My choice was just what is the most fully featured out of the box visual novel tool. And this is the most fully featured, right? Because you get unexpected thing not found. Oh, so sorry. Because with this, you will get an immediate thing of history. You will get the ability to like auto. You get things like auto text if you've seen it. You get things like save state. You get things like quick save. And then from here, you can add more if you need more by programming it within Python. Like the same way that, for instance, Road Warden. Like Road Warden is basically made in the same thing. It's using RenPy, but it's like heavily modified, right? So you basically get the same thing. But that's why I chose this. That's why they chose Python. I get it. Python is easier to absorb. Wait, there's a Ren.js? I'm not using JavaScript. The hell fucking no. But it makes sense for Python though, because Python is a lot easier to learn than other things. Like, I'm only having problems because I'm just confused about the way that they structure things and based on what I know about programming languages. But I know the C family of programming languages. But if you told someone to learn C to make a visual novel, they'd go fucking crazy. They would be like, why do I need a curly brace? Right? Like, this is not an easy concept to understand. It makes sense to us because we see it like this. But when somebody sees this without the, like, you know, the visual guide, in people's minds, it really looks like this. In people's minds, it really looks like this. And they'll be confused as shit, right? So Python makes sense because in Python, the code, like Python code, the Python code up here looks fundamentally no different from the dialogue down here. That's how easy it is to get started. And this DSL is made specifically to make it easy to write stuff if you're primarily like a writer, right? Like it's meant to be like a low code option. So it makes sense why Python. JS love? No, I'm not going to use... I don't want to use JS for anything complicated too, because JS has the worst of both worlds. JS has the worst of both worlds, where you have the type of untyped madness, chaos, hell realm of Python, but you also have the C style confusing syntax of like curly braces and like weird ways to define parameters and stuff. It's like the double whammy of it's not simple enough for people to pick up and go. And it's also got too many complex weird bits that doesn't need to be there. Where Ren.js has TS support. Yeah, but it's like, how many types do we need, right? Because fundamentally, what is a visual novel? A visual novel is not the majority of the programming exercise. And if I need to, if I need to program more, right? I can just, if I really need to, you can call any code from like Python. Like you can even FFI into C or C or C++ if you really need to, right? And you can sort of like manipulate it from that angle, yeah? Like it's not that hard to sort of get code that works. But again, I'm just choosing whatever is the easiest to set up to get going with. So even TS support doesn't make me go, oh yeah, I'll be happy to like use it, because it's like once I define these, that's it. I'm using the DSL for the rest of it. And I'm just going to use the DSL for the entire thing to write the entire script, right? Of our character and the chat characters like trying to date each other, right? And like any custom elements, it's going to be fully custom anyways, and I could do anything with it. But it's like, how much more do you need beyond maybe graphics? And graphics is mostly what you draw, right? So it's hard to justify sort of like the curve that you would need to, and sort of the noise that you would have if you did have a typing. Like this is annoying now, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and it's easy to see where it is. Versus like, okay, well, this has to be good. This bit right here, the writing the actual story bit, has to be simple and very easy to do, such that I can just do it. And I know, for instance, like, and this DSL gives you a lot of freedom because you can even do something like this. I think this was the syntax where you can just go like this, and it's like a multi-line thing. Eat shit and die. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right? Oh, oops. Expected statement, character. Oops. Wait, how do you do like a multi-line thing again? But yeah, basically all I'm saying is I get the reason why you would go for Python, because it's like the amount of code that you do, right, is so minimal that it's just variable definitions. Like I only need it for names basically and like Madlib stuff. And Madlib stuff is just like you push it into an array and you pop it out. And it's not that bad within Python. So how do I do like a multi-line statement? Anyway, so we have the general structure. I just need to figure out how to like get ways for the character to like give variable values. Like how do you get input from the player? Injecting Python. What? Can we inject it into the game at runtime? What? Like can you have a file named exec.py? This is intended to support debugging tools. By default, it is enabled when developer most true, but also can be enabled by setting the renpy exec py. Wait, can you do this for any renpy game? Like, could you just do this for any renpy game and just execute this and just export like a shit ton of files? Huh. Or just mod like any visual novel? JSON DB. What? A JSON DB is a 2-level database. Okay, this has gone too far. This has gone way too far. What do you mean a 2-level database? Huh? Modding a visual novel is crazy. Yeah, right? But it's weird too, because like what would you do? I think the most that you would probably do is just want to change the dialogue, right? But I'm like, as far as I know, if when you start renpy, it compiles your renpy script into a compiled version of it. So you wouldn't even be able to mod it necessarily. Although, I guess it depends on what is inside of a renpy.c file. Like, if I check out the renpy.c file, here, I go to game, and I go to renpy script rpy.c. I open this up in Notepad, because I'm too lazy to open anything else. It's a binary format. So, you know, there's no way to mod it. You would just be adding, I don't know, you just be defining variables, I guess, or changing variable values. I'm not really sure. Yeah, usually mods, the visual novels are basically just the fanfics. Yeah, right? Like then it's like, how would you even mod in the new dialogue? Because it's like, unless you just make it jump into anywhere else and you make it jump into your own block that you define entirely in like Python through the exec.py. But that's, I don't know, seems complicated. Because at that point, just go here. You know, just go here and enter in your category. Like, let's say, I don't know, what's a visual novel? Or emo. After story. Or emo fanfic. Or emo Kuroniko X male reader. What does this mean? Kuroniko happy end. What the fuck does this mean? Male reader. I've been looking online and saw nobody made a Kuroniko X reader, so I decided to make one. Start reading. Chapter 1, the cosplay event. YN, your POV. I was waking up that morning and I got a text from my friend Kyosuke. Oh man, let's just okay, continue to the next part. Okay, just keep going. I just wanted to get to the point where they have sex. And it gets all fucking weird. I was thinking about Kuroniko taking somewhere for his first date, and for some reason I called Kyosuke and Kirino to tell them about me and Kuroniko. Even though I kind of knew they'd go crazy, even though, Jesus Christ, this is a run-on sentence. I was thinking about, and for some reason I called Kyosuke and Kirino to tell them about me and Kuroniko, even though I kind of knew they'd go crazy, even though I told Kirino I like Kuroniko, even though she probably told Kyosuke about it. The movie poster greeting sub was a UK cameo. Okay, did you wait long? No, just like the Jesus Christ, is this what people do? See? Okay, maybe you know what it is? Don't go to Wattpad. Just go and make a visual novel. Like at least it shows up in like dialogue, okay? Let's get like an image of Kuro Nico. Kuro Nico. Perfect. This is gonna be one of the girls. So she will be one of the girls that we're gonna have. Okay, I'm just gonna steal this image shamelessly from some random Pinterest board. Random Kuro Nico from this random pin chessboard. Okay, we'll put this inside the folder. Shamelessly steal it. We'll have a Kuro Nico. This will be the new placeholder. Yesterday. What? Yesterday. Wait, how come it's gone? How come I can't see it anymore? Wait, I put it on my desktop, right? Yeah, here we go. Don't have this on my desktop because people they're going to look at me funny. Okay, so game images. You have group 1. Yeah, perfect. Now we have trash. Now we have the right amount of trash in all the right places. This is like a garbage stream today. Oh, perfect. Okay, so how do I make an image for a character? How do I make an image for a character? What happened to dark mode? Why does it keep disappearing? Fuck you. How do you define a character with an image? Define a character. Labels and control flow. The character. Here we go. Okay, defining character attributes. Say with image attributes. Here we go. Image equal. Image equal. Why does it? How come there's no space between the before and after the equal? Why is it so close to each other? Why is it so tightly packed? Kuro Nico. Okay, there we go. So we do Kuro Nico, and we do like I don't know what's the multi-line thing again? Multi-line. Special characters, multiple character. Wait, what? Multiple character dialogue. What? So what's dialogue from multiple characters simultaneously? Multiple dialogue is invoked by giving lines of dialogue the multiple argument. Multiple dialogue is invoked by passing a line of dialogue with the multiple argument, the number of lines of dialogue to combine together. So if you have 3 blocks of it, okay, so if I do like, I don't know. And then we do group 1. Fuck you. And we do, now, okay, now it's parentheses, now it's a little, what is this, man? What am I looking at? So, okay, wait, so we do this, and then how do you do like a multi-line thing? How do you do like multi-line? Multi-line? No. No, quick start, here we go. So multiple, yeah, okay, we do this. Uh-huh. Jesus Christ. There's actually so much about this weird language. But it is actually like an interesting way of doing it. It makes sense. Like if I think of it from the perspective of somebody who only cares about the writing aspect, and who just sort of like pops the drawings in just for the sake of it, I think it does make sense because it's very easy. Oh, here we go. Monologue mode. That's how you do monologue modes. You do name the character, you do triple braces, and you break into a monologue right away. Does it have to be like this? I guess it does have to. And then we do multiple too. Okay, so we do a monologue, and then this should just work. Fuck you. Name placeholder is not defined. Sorry, name placeholder is not defined. What? See? That's what I was afraid of. It does this thing. It does this thing where it's like, it's not a string value. It uses this to look up where the value is. So if this should be like this. Like this is weird to me. Maybe that's how it works. What? It does. Look, you can see it. The placeholder is saying eat shit and die. Okay, so we do this and we do like that and we just go into here and we save it and it's gonna reload. Takes a while to reload. Fuck you. Well, where's your image? Huh? Where's your image? How come sometimes it loads fine and sometimes it like doesn't? It's getting a little wonky here. It's getting a little wonky. Is it because of this? Because I don't do like a this? Was it because the format of the image? Like, what's going on? How come I can't get the image to work? Show Eileen. Oh wait, no. Show Kuro Nico. I mean, show group 1. Yeah, show group 1. Yeah, okay, good, perfect, okay, good. Okay, I think I get how this works now. All right, so we can get Kuro Nico to show up on the screen. We are not doing a Kuro Nico themed visual novel. Okay, you can go to Wattpad for that one if you want like a very in-depth version where the male, but you have to be male. Think about it. You have to be male to read that specific fanfic, where you, the male reader, can go and talk to her. You must be male. And why you have to be male, but you have to be male for this one. Nice. Okay, so I get how this works now. Okay, so now we have a clue of what's going on. How are we gonna start this off? Remember, all the stories that I read to you start stories off in the middle, right? This is now a visual novel. I'm gonna start it off just like the actual news article. I'm going to start it off like the actual news article. Scene BG room. What is it? BJ. How do you make a room scene? Okay, we got to keep reading. Sorry. I want the scene to be just like, and I have the perfect site for this too. Stock images, restaurant. So again, inspiration is that one person who took all of his girlfriends on a date to the same restaurant, right? And so what we're going to do is the same thing. We start off in the middle of a restaurant. Nice, beautiful restaurant, just like this. We go to Pixabay as well. There's a couple places we can get images. Reject all. Just fuck your cookies, man. The restaurant. Damn, that's a nice image. Holy shit. Plus minus if this is AI. I'm just kidding. This is not AI. But damn, that's a nice image. My dream is to be lost in a forest like this. And then a little bear crawls down, and I say, "Hello, bear," and it eats me alive. That's my dream. Anyways, restaurant. Okay, good. So we need an image where we start off in a restaurant, where like, oh, everyone's there. Okay, outside shot of the restaurant, into the inside shot. Oh, even better outside shot, right? So the scene starts like this, and then you go into this. How does this lead to this? I don't know, but that's an exercise for us later. Okay, so we start like this. We're going to a beautiful restaurant with our like 20 girlfriends, and we're trying to play them all, and then we go over here. Okay, so how do we start this off? Scene. How do you make it like a scene? Scene. The character store. Oh. The say statement will search the character name stored before the default storage. We'll have a character the same name as a variable in the default storage can be defined using this. Oh, go back to quick start. Here, characters, images. Here we go. A visual novel isn't much of a visual novel without pictures. So true, King and Queen. Here's another scene from the question. This also includes statements that shows images to the character. Show Sylvie, scene BG Meadow. Okay, the scene statement. Well, the scene statement on line 6 clears all images and displays a background image. So scene clears all images and displays a background image. Okay. Oh yeah. The following files are placed in the images directory to find the following images. bg space meadow.jpg equals bg meadow. What? So you have to actually name it after the type of thing it is? Isn't that a little crazy? Okay. I know what to do. So let's download these images. We'll do, sure, 1280. I don't really know. Betsy Spin, what's your license? Where's the image license? Free for use under the Pixabay content license. Use content for free. Use content without having to attribute them and modify or adapt content to the new works. Can't sell or distribute the content on a standalone basis. If content contains any recognizable trademarks, you can't use that content for commercial purposes or in relation to goods. You can't use the content in an immoral or illegal way. So sorry, guys. Incest is out of the window, but cuckoldry should still be fine. Cheating is funny. incest is a little immoral. You can't use content in a misleading or deceptive way, and you can't use the content. Okay, it's fine. It's whatever. We are clear to use this. We are clear. We have the image. We'll choose this one as well. This is a nice image. This interior, free download. What's your license? Free to use CC0. Nice. I don't even have to do anything. Not even a single bit of reading. I just take it and I go. Thank you. So now let me rename. So which one's which? So this is the outside. So I'll rename this to BG Restaurant Outside. Restaurant Exterior. Exterior, interior, something. Can we listen to that? Tell you. No. Exterior like fish eggs. Interior like. You're a genuine dick sucker. I always love that video. Sorry. Okay, so we have these two. BG Restaurant Exterior. Interior. Wait, is this exterior? Yeah, exterior. Interior like fish eggs. Exterior like something. Restaurant interior. .jpg. Okay, so this is kind of weird because it's like I didn't realize that there's so much to set the scene, and we haven't written a single line yet. But this is sort of why I don't really care too much about the programming language of a visual novel game, because it's like you're mostly just dealing with images and stuff. Like you're not really dealing much with like the need to, I don't know, like make custom stuff. At least not early, because Road Warden is only a good game because the writing is fantastic. If the writing in that game was dog water, I wouldn't even bother playing it, even if it has a cool mechanic for a visual novel. Okay, that's why I love that game. Yeah, and that's it, I say as I haven't finished it yet. Restaurant exterior. Okay, so let's see if this works. I'm assuming this should. Oh, sorry, the documentation block there. So now we show this. There's no lines of dialogue, so it can't show anything. How do we set the scene? In a beautiful restaurant, in a beautiful town. Wait, what is the? We have to listen to this song. We have to listen to a very specific song. The VOD's gonna stop here because the VOD watchers can't see this, but there's a very specific song, and the way that he describes the place is what we need to channel. Yeah, okay. You may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. Okay. In a beautiful restaurant, in a beautiful city, in a beautiful city in a war-torn country. Oh man, what a stupid intro. No, we're not gonna do in a beautiful city. We are not gonna do in a beautiful restaurant in a beautiful city in a war-torn country. That's stupid. Sorry, that just came out of left field in my mind. Sorry. I need to, but like, how do we capture the moment? Basically, what's the moment? Okay, the moment is that you are all on a date with me as chatters, but like you're all the amalgam hive mind, and you've just found out that I was actually in the middle of a date with all three of you, right? What's the moment? What's the moment that will hook someone in to make them go, "What the hell is going on here?" Right? Screams. Screams erupt from inside a beautiful in a beautiful restaurant in a beautiful city by a picturesque view of the ocean. Here in a bit of the bobbin, the in a bit of a the bit of a in a bit of the Buddha, but a bit of bobbin. The only sound you hear is screaming. I don't know. Does that hook you? In a beautiful restaurant in a beautiful city. In a beautiful restaurant in a beautiful city by a picturesque view of the ocean, the only sound you hear is screaming. And then when you transition, you go right to the inside. So now we go scene, and we do like I don't know, like to do beautiful ocean wave sounds, and we do to do end that line of dialogue with screaming. Uh, the only sound you hear is, and then we do like this, and we do like this, and then we do like this, and we do screaming, and then we do like ends that line of dialogue with screaming. Sorry, you can't see the thing. I keep forgetting to minimize it. Yeah, so we do this, and then we go scene BG restaurant interior. Okay, so now we're inside the restaurant. A waiter ducks for cover as a steak knife barely grazes, seeks to disarm them of their eyeballs. Is that like how do writers find ways to write these things? A waiter ducks for cover, and then we do I don't know, like a to do all the sound effects. Okay, a waiter ducks for cover as a steak knife seeks to disarm them of their eyeballs. Uh, the bartender dives over the counter as all the glasses explode in a dazzling array of lights of light bouncing off of shards of glass. I don't know. Let's just go with this, okay? And then a patron cries as their husband was hit by a stray what? By a stray what? We have the steak knife for the waiter. We have the glass from the bartender. By a stray corn on the cob, so sharp, so as to pierce right through their heart. And then we have someone screaming here. Is it a hit? A family, a crime family member, the target? Is it a I don't know. Is it an attack? An act of terrorism taking place in a busy social setting for maximum effect? Is it monologue time? Is it an attack, an act of terrorism taking place? Could it be a what else is like awful to like have happen? What else could possibly explain this? Is it could it be 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 nature's wrath bearing down on this affront built by mankind on its very doorstep, because it's on the ocean view. It's like on the ocean view. If you look at the image of it, right? If you look at the image, it's like on the ocean view, right? Screaming, and then you okay, chat. It's actually working pretty well. If you think about it, it's actually going pretty well. Like, look, in a beautiful restaurant in a beautiful city by a picturesque view of the ocean, the only sound you hear is screaming. And this is why I don't care about the programming yet. I maybe will care if I add more features like the Mad Lib thing, okay? But even then, it's just setting variables and polling variables, and there's and there's like a database, right? The majority of a visual novel is the writing. I'm a dog shit writer, so this is the majority of your time is when we spent trying to write something that actually makes sense. And actually, it's fairly easy to get started making your own visual novel. I'm very impressed by how easy it is to make a visual novel. So much so that, yeah, this is actually a very interesting exercise, right? And then a bartender is the crime. Blah, blah, worse. Worse than all of that. This is something that none can ever be prepared for. And then we do a parasocial parasite. Love scorned. I don't know. And then we'll have like all three parasites. It does anybody, what are some good placeholder characters for the parasites? I need like a worm image. I need like a worm. I don't know. I need like a worm. Worm. This is all placeholder. Perfect. Oh Jesus. Chat, there's so many different worms. There's so many worms. I love worms. If I was a worm, would you still love me? Fuck no. Fuck no. Okay, good. We have all three worm archetypes. We have all three worm archetypes. And chat, feel free to engage with your ideas. Any ideas that you want to have, throw them in. Because this is a collaborative effort. Okay, I searched up cartoon worm and I get like hot cosplayers. What is this? What are you doing here? That's you in the cosplay? I don't know if that's you in the cosplay. Is that them in the cosplay? No, it's not. Yo, wait, these cosplays are kind of sick. Wait, why they dressed up like the Monkey King? What is this anime convention? Who are these characters? What is any of this? Why is this under the cartoon worm category? Why is this under the cartoon worm category? Huh? Why? How did I get here from cartoon worm? Sorry, you just saw what happens when I see like one good-looking person. Is I go into Gooner mode. Just kidding. Stop. Stop. Okay, how come Pexels has no worms? Like there's no worms here. They're just like cosplayers and people. Is that feet? The fuck is this? That's just feet, man. Egg. Oh, fist bump. What's this? A monkey being drawn. Huh. What if I just search cartoon? There's a lot of cartoon. How come cosplay is stuck in cartoon? See, no joke, it's the same thing as the meme of like, hey, you still watching them Japanese cartoons? Like it's the same thing. This place has all the good worms, and we can use these for something, and it's not immoral either. It's just, you know, a really bad dating day for you all in chat. We'll take this worm, we'll take this worm, and we'll take this worm. Now, we also need to figure out how to show all three worms on screen. So they also have an API for this. Again, like it's why it's like the programming language doesn't bother me too much. I just recognize that I wouldn't be able to, like, I wouldn't be sane working with Python for very long. But it's like, you really do want to optimize for your main goal, which is writing stories. Like, you don't want to do anything else. Also, which worm should be for which? Maybe we do this nerdy worm as group 1. So group 1 will be the sort of like spunky, nerdy type archetype character worm, where they, you know, they're very wholesome. It's like the girl next door style thing where they're very nice to you and they love you a lot and they'll take care of you and they'll cook you dinner and they'll suck your dick on the daily, right? Like it's like, you know, they like really care about you. Worm 2 is like the raunchy little, you know, worm that like, you know, looks very unkempt, but has like massive titties, so she's hot. And then she's like, you know, there to drink alcohol on like a weekday in the middle of the day, but she still loves you a lot. She doesn't really want to show you because she wants to sort of like be the strong one. But when you dominate her, then she goes, "Oh, yes, daddy." Then we get Worm 3, which is the other archetype, which is like the plain Jane, the sort of normal person. But that's how they present themselves. They're a little bit scary on the inside because like when you look at their face and their dead expression, you realize that, wait, there's something wrong with them. and there's something wrong about the way that they approach you, but they love you. No harm can come to you, just to the people around you, right? Kuroniko is going to be deleted. I deleted Kuroniko. She's gone now. Everyone say goodbye to Kuroniko. Say nyan nyan, go away. And then we'll do all three worms. So now, I wish to show all three worms appearing. So how do I show all three worms, I guess? Show group 1. So instead of being Kuroniko, we'll do group 1. We'll do these images here. This is kind of frustrating. Can I do these multi-line or something? Group 1, group 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have group 1, 2, 3. So we do show group 1, which should show group 1. Okay, yada yada yada. Oh, because there's no dialogue after it ends. Right. Okay. To do, I gotta write this before I get fired. This is the first worm. Okay, we need to like resize them. You were way too big to the screen. I need all three worms to show up on the screen. Okay, we just need all three worms. It's actually kind of cool how easy it is to use this, but I don't think we'll ever get to the Mad Lib thing. Okay, we only have about 1 hour left because most of these days are going to be like I can't go super long. But I'm realizing that like, yeah, the visual novel thing is like you need to have a good script in place in the first place. I'm realizing that when you write the script, you're really thinking about the same way that a play script writer would. All the actions, all the ways that you would show it, all the framing of the things that you would do. You would then have to communicate this to your artist to show it. Or if you're gonna have animations, you'd have to program that in. And then it's like, then you have to think about your game mechanics. It's actually even more story heavy. It's not like a roguelike game where like, let's say roguelike pinball, let's say like an imaginary roguelike pinball game called Snow Job 7, right? That's easier to make because you just need to focus on making the balls go around and it's kind of fun, right? This, you have to write a good story. That's like your step 1 is writing a good story. So the fact that Visual Novel Database, but the VNDB has like, I can show this, right? It's kind of weird, but it's fine to show. The fact that VNDB has like what? Millions of visual. What is this? Why does she have such massive fucking titties? This has been shown as this has been flagged as sexual. Show me anyways. Wow. What about this one? Why is this one also fucking weird? This one has like a child. That's really bad. You don't want to see that one. That was really bad. So the fact that there are this many visual novels is kind of crazy to think about because it's like, that's how much writing is that? 53,000 visual novels exist. Like each of these are books. It's probably on the same length as like a Sherlock Holmes thing, but with a bunch of writing. And you have to like write hundreds of thousands of lines of dialogue to make it work. Like Jesus Christ. No wonder this thing took so long to make, for instance, because I think to myself, I can write a story. I can't write this fucking story. It takes forever. Wow. Anyways, let's display some images. Shows an image on a layer. What? The defining aspect of a visual novel, lending its name to the form, are the visuals. Yep. Ren Packing needs 4 statements that control the display of images, and the model that determines the order in which the images are displayed. Huh? As abrupt changes of the image can be disconcerting to the user, which allows the state effects to be applied. Yep. Mm-hmm. What is lint? Checked by lint. Also, yes, my user account is named the Cummiser. Don't mind. The lint tool checks again for potential errors or micro optimizations or misoptimizations. Only macro optimizations here. No micro. Okay. Merry Beach Night Happy, while the image attributes are beach, night, and happy. What? An image is something. An image consists of a name and a displayable. When the image is shown on a layer, an image name consists of one or more names. The first component is the tag. The second are called the image attributes. What? Which can be specified given the file name. However, an image may refer to any displayable. What in God's name is an attribute? How do you define an attribute? Would you just say like, would you just make a thing that's just called Merry Beach Night Happy JPEG? .png? That seems like crazy. It is. That's literally how it's done. You do Eileen and space happy. This is the happy image. Wow. You also do within a directory. Wow. Okay. Oversampling. What? If all no, the image of a filling time screen when oversampling is the time. Oh, and then oversampling is resuming, like that one time in Doki Doki Literature Club when they zoom into the weird like creepy face. Image statement is used to define an image. What in God's name is a VBox? Okay, show statement uses display an image on a layer, has the same tag attributes at property. It was evaluate to a transform. Here we go. See the section on how to replace transforms. Here we go. So I can put this anywhere. So let's see what the transforms are. When an ATL transform, okay, we gotta start back at square one. What do you say? He's in quart, quad, quint, squirt. When I'm done with you, you're gonna be squirting all over the place. Sorry. Transforms are used in order to turn a displayable into another displayable. What does that mean? What the fuck is a displayable? See, this is when every look at at some point languages like because there's this really cool course or thing that I linked in the Discord chat about how to make a programming language. At some point, honestly, it's just everything is complicated. There's no way that you can simplify it any further because everything is naturally complicated. You can't make it easy to make it do anything. Like, we've only written a handful of lines. We haven't even gotten to the fun part of writing a story. We've just been stuck in this hell where we're constantly... It would have been better to call today a programming day. And I think next time we do this, I'm gonna split the creation of this into two parts. One, we make the script. Two, we build the visual novel. Because making the script is a whole different venture than compiling it into a visual novel. It's like if you get to this step and you don't have the book ready, you're doomed. But if you get to the book and you want to add stuff, you're still doomed because you got to learn all of this too. But oh god, this was a disaster. But at least I know now what it takes to make a visual novel, right? Yeah, like it makes sense. But at least now I know. So you know what? Let's say we have maybe half an hour left because I don't want to go too far. I just want to get at least this first scene done where we get some dynamism and we can choose the names of the various characters and then we just call it, okay? Today was going to be a short day anyways, not super long. Tomorrow and the day after are really the long days on the weekend, especially with the Path of Exile 2 co-op. So again, if you were going to play Path of Exile 2, if you want to do co-op, just let me know. We'll just play it live on stream. Because it's like, man, you really do need a story to start with. Like, I guess I forget how much it takes to write, right? Even writing documentation is painful because you have to write reams and reams of lines to say something. And that's for something that has a natural description of it. Like, writing documentation is super easy in the sense of, like, what you're describing, its purpose is the writing. Like, there's no need to invent something new. You're just describing what it does, right? And sort of thinking of how something works and what it does is like a built-in aspect of the thing that you've just created. But then, when you want to write a story, nothing exists. Like, none of this story exists. Nothing about this story exists. So you have to sit there and think about how you want it to read like. It has to flow well. It has to sound well. It has to read like properly. Like you have to be able to understand what's going on, but you also have to write it in a way such that the overall the overall story is interesting to you in some way. That's complicated. That's really complicated. Huh. And now that I realize that, yeah, maybe we just cut this here, actually. Because you know what? I can't even think of anything else to do. Because I'm realizing, right? Okay, so visual novels, we learned that the tool itself is not that complex. But we learned that the complexity is within the story. You're writing, effectively, this entire script to make this work. And this is just the very beginning. We've barely written anything. and you have to go even further and further and further, and you would maybe organize it into different places. Like, we interrupt this hot, sexy, naked restaurant scene to tell you the stream is over. So we just jump, and then we jump into mission. Mission. Does it work? Yeah. So it's like doing all of this is the point of the game, and doing this bit, the like programming bits, the like bits where you define things, that's barely anything. Even if you have a custom mechanic, it's fairly easy to do. Like, I can see now how Road Warden probably went about implementing its like money feature, right? The map thing is a little bit more complicated, but even then, maybe you can just get mouse input, and I'm sure there's like libraries like like Pygame and stuff that make it possible, right? And so it's like you can just hook all of this up with like custom Python scripts. But yeah, it's surprisingly complex just to get the writing going. But I realize now that visual novels really are just 90% writing, 9% art, and 1% programming. Like, this is a fully featured thing. There's no need for you to like do anything crazy. You have a full history of it. I wish history would show more of the scenery, but that's something that you can do like yourself. And then it has all the different options that you need. There's like a history you can save and load this. Yeah, sure. And you can just like load this to go back to where you were. There's like prefaces. Like it all works. But dear God, is the writing really what you need to do? That's the hard part, is the writing. But I like it. It's an interesting tool that actually does work well, and like it makes sense once you get into it. It's just a little confusing with the weird syntax that it has and like different ways that it could be done. But I realize, yeah, it's just hard to actually get into it because it's like so much upfront knowledge that you need to have to understand what's happening. And then once you get in, it's all about the writing. But then it's like if you don't have a good baseline for your writing, you're just doomed. I need to think about this. Maybe next time we do this as a visual novel, I'll come with a fuller script ready, and then we'll just see if whatever suggestions chat might have to throw in there. But I realize that even asking chat for suggestions on what to write is a bit complicated. Like, if I ask you for a word that means the excretion of a liquid from a human body, right? Most of you will probably say come. That's easy to do. But if I say, give me a word that in this place could represent the feeling, or like if I say, please give me something that like will like help me display the feeling that these characters have, and like write me a scene in a way that allows these characters to feel something. It's like, what's the context? What is the personality of these characters? Are they allowed to break from their personality? How complex do we want them to be? What is even the scenario? Are they sitting on the sofa watching Netflix and they're about to quote unquote chill? Are they going to go on like a car ride and then they park their car on like a nice cliff top to look at the stars and have sex? Like, what do you do? Ooze, see? Ooze, right? Very easy. But like that, if I ask you to like suggest, if I say chat, you can throw in any scene that you want, that's harder because there's no way that any of you are better than me at writing, which is not to say that I'm a good writer. It's to say that we're all awful at writing. Like, creative writing is a whole different skill set from writing a good sentence well and writing technically well, right? Like, I realize now it's just hard. So you know what? This was a semi-failure, but it was interesting to look at. I actually do enjoy sort of taking a look at this, and it's more of a quiet, short day for, anyways. But I think we just call it here because you know what? As try as we might, I don't think we can actually get much further. Because it's like to write a good story, you need time. Like you need to sit there and like really think about what you want it to play out as, And then I was so sort of like lost in what I wanted to do, and now I'm stuck with this like idea in my mind, and I know generally what the concept is, but just because you know what the general concept is, that doesn't translate well into the various scenes that you have. Like, it's even harder. When you ask why George R.R. Martin is opening a restaurant, is seen in a protest, is doing all these other things except writing his book, I want you to know he is writing his book. When he opens a restaurant, that's him figuring out what to do with the book. When he's at a protest, that's him writing his book. Like, he is writing the book in everything that he does because creative writing comes from the soul, man. You also need breaks to refresh your mind to come back to. Yeah, exactly. Like it takes like I don't think live streaming is a good way to do writing. Although, okay, so maybe if you're like a psycho, but like I don't know if you can do like a live stream story writing like session because you have to just sit there for 8 hours and force yourself to do it. And I don't know if I could ever do that for anything. So it's like I don't know. Like when I make music, I get the music when I'm starting to fall asleep, and then I wake up and I'm like I have to record that really quickly, and I run to my computer or open my phone and I like grab and I grab whatever is like around me, right? But like it's you can't plan for that. Like if I sit here right now and you ask me to make a song, I don't know. I don't know. It just comes to me, man. So it's the same thing with the writing. Yeah, like you just need. It's like you need that time away to get that time here. You have to let it like sit there and you have to mull over it, and you have to let it like ferment in your mind. It has to brew inside there. It's like it's a bubble until finally, it overflows in the well, and then it flows over onto the paper as like words. That's what you need. You know what? It was cool to check out RenPy though. I like it. There's a lot of complex things that you can do with it. I didn't realize it was so fully featured, and it is actually very easy to get started with because again, this is all you really need. And if you want to show an image, you just make the images and you show it, right? Like it's super easy to show these things and just show what's going on, and it's just play around with it. It's so easy to get going and just go right into the meat and bones of a visual novel, which is I don't think pictures. It's the writing. I actually think the pictures are secondary to the writing. Not in the sense of like you would explain the scene or you would like explain what's happening in the scene the way that like a normal book would, but that the writing gives purpose to what you're seeing and they sort of like play together, but without the writing, it's like what you're seeing almost doesn't really make sense. And there's other formats that would work better as like even like a slideshow type of deal, right? It's like I feel like the writing is the key part of a visual novel, and the visuals are there to help communicate what's happening, versus necessarily the other way around, where where the words almost act as like a description of the image. And that's also why honestly Python, as much as I hate the dealing with the language, it is the best choice. It's like if you're gonna go with a fairly simplistic language that feels like writing normal English, you've got the right language, or like normal any language really. It just feels like writing a normal sort of like left to right language. So it's good, except for this. I don't know why Python does this like no space in between these things, and why true and false is with a capital when everything else in the language is lowercase. I don't actually understand Python, but that was good. It's something you took away from art classes. Sometimes you stare at what you just made and you think it sucks. But if you give yourself the time, without a better way of putting it, you're less emotional over it and you see what you like about it. Yes. Yeah. I would say even that can apply to code too. But I don't know if that's true of all things. Like I feel like a lot of that can apply to many things in life, where sometimes just taking that moment away lets you see it in a whole different light. It's like that. It's just the ability to see it in a whole new perspective. Well said. I really like that lesson. Thank you thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna take time away from this RenPy thing now.